So as you may know, Payload was modified, and now for every 10 pulls you get a Gamma redemption card. I'll be posting a video on that in a moment. But for now, I just wanted to show how I came to this new deck. It's a slight modification, just 3 cards, but the results have been interesting so far. So here you see the Payload interface, where you are going to pull 10 cards with the pack opening experience, which is very cool. And then you also get a Gamma redemption card, which allows you to draw a wall of cards while supplies last. Some of those cards are already sold out. So here you can see I'm an Augencore player, so I'm looking for Augencore and Universal cards. Only one Augencore card. It's not really a good one, and I already have it. So this is really a kind of a bust for me. At least that's what I thought. But you can see here there are two Universal cards. There's the Relic and the Defender, the 2-cost Defender, which is a 1/4 that allows you to charge. And then the Relic, which allows you to conceal. So right away, I got some synergy with those 2 cards. Another no snitching is never bad. And that was my first pull. I did a second one, just, hoping to get something a little better. And also another redemption card isn't bad. In the end, I've done 3 of these so far, and gotten some decent stuff, as you'll see. My third pull wasn't really good, but at least I get the redemption for the Gamma. So you'll see my second pull. Again, really love this opening experience. All of them are great. This one's really cool. Audio is fantastic. Okay, so you see a Take It or Leave It. Take It or Leave It is one of the cards that sold out first from the Gamma redemptions. So you weren't able to redeem any more for that at the time of this pull, but I did get one directly in the pack. I did get an Augencore card as well, top right. So that Augencore card and the 2 previous Universal cards that I mentioned from the previous pull are the ones that I realized have some good synergy and I could put to use by adding them to my deck. I took some cards out, obviously. The ones I took out were not critical, but I wasn't sure necessarily how this would work. So this is the deck that you can see here. So allocated provisions is the Relic that I mentioned. This will allow you to conceal any number of cards, as well as putting a supply cache in your deck for each card concealed. So that's actually pretty good, because my deck already did use the reveal mechanic without these new cards, so that was very helpful. I had played with that before, but I didn't own it as an NFT. Next, Armored Support Vehicle, the Defender, 2-cost 1/4, where you can charge and apply Shielded to the next unit you play. So that's really, really good, because Shielded is extremely useful, definitely against Shroud and also against Marco. And then the last one of the 3, Makeshift Masterworker, causes upgrades that target this unit to cost less, and when you reveal the card in the bank, upgrades you play on that turn cost less. So this has utility both in the bank and on the field. Now this other card, AGS Generator, which applies 2 health at the end of the turn and will shield the unit, is one I recently added to a deck, so it's maybe 2 deck iterations ago, and I have 2 of them. And this, as you can kind of tell, all synergizes together to give you more shielded. I have existing units with shielded. You can see that one there. Of course, the Hardling Pilot, which is a big card for Augencore, and then the Security Officer can be shielded, and then Sesmir is also shielded. So this is the focus of the deck, and this was the first match that I tested it in versus Brand, and I was pretty happy with the results, as you will see here. Now, obviously, not every match with this deck is going to be this lucky in terms of draws, and even lucky with the plays.
One chance, submit.
So you can see I have the Armored Support Vehicle and the Aegis. So right away, my thinking is if I save those, I can play both of those on turn 4 and protect the support vehicle by having it be shielded, and then use that card to shield other cards that get played after that. That's the thinking. Not necessarily going to play, but that was my idea. So here I already have 2 pieces of the 3-card puzzle right off my first draws, including the Aegis, which is, you know, not necessary, but it helps. My other 2 cards here, not great. Scrapper is good because I can pull an Aegis and it'll just shield it at the end of the turn. So strategy against Shroud, which can be very strong, especially New Dawn lately. There's so much New Dawn on the ladder right now. The strategy is to just make sure you're forcing them to use their banishes, you know, Honored Stewards, or use multiple copies of their effects because your units are shielded, and just wear them out so that by the time you can safely play Smear, they don't have much left to deal with. In the case of Brand, you also don't have to worry about them playing units from the Singularity, which is very good. One other thing I like about this deck is the 1-cost relic play on 1 is good because you often don't want to be in a situation where you're playing unshielded units and you're just feeding them banishes to buff their units, so you want to avoid that if possible. And you don't want to do nothing on a turn, so this gives you something to do. Okay, so here we have a good situation where I have a Hardlink pilot, which is going to be shielded. I also have a security officer and a generator, so I have a lot of options here. In fact, I have a little bit too much on what I want to throw away. I don't like dumping the kill switch and or the scrapper. In fact, I like to keep those together because the scrapper is one way you can recover the kill switch, and that gets you kills on the steward, which returns your units, etc. But I have to make a decision, and I'm leaning into this deck again. I want to test a new idea. So now I have a Johns as well. Johns is another unit that'll allow me to reveal cards in the bank. I can apply the Aegis onto that. Will ramp up its health and, you know, ability. So either I have 2 options here. It'll give it a lot of health, and it'll also ramp its health continually and protect it with shield. And, you know, as compared to the Defender, John's Tactical Prisoner has salvage. So if I do choose that as my Aegis target, I can recover, so that's good. Okay, so again, couldn't get more perfect draws. It's turn 3 and I've already seen all 3 of the cards of the puzzle here. So I'm going to opt to bank this, which will allow me to do the seal cycle on that card, which will do multiple things for me. And you'll see here that given that I have 3 energy, I can do that immediately. So use the charge from John's Tactical Prisoner, reveal the card. That will immediately lower the cost of the upgrades. You can see here now I can apply Aegis to John's, giving me the +2 for upgrading after the charge, or the activation mechanic. It also will get 2 more health at the end of the turn, and as a bonus, I get a cash. So now you're going to, at the end of this turn, I have 2 shielded units, with the potential for a 3rd if I have another unit on deck, if and when the John goes away. So this is the basic principle. In fact, it was my principle with my deck in general, because obviously you're making decks to face every possible opponent deck, and not just a particular deck. So you have to have tools to deal with everything. You have to deal with, you know, a aggressive Marco deck, or a fast Sippy deck that goes wide, or, you know, you have to have ways to deal with banishes. So this has always been my philosophy behind. Not gonna be a big winner, you know, in the top 100, but it will get you success up to, you know, diamond and the top 1,000. So interestingly, it put the Aegis in my deck, which helps me because the shielded was applied to the Johns. It doesn't lose when the unit goes back into my hand. So now I can use it again without requiring the salvage mechanic on a dying Johns to apply it. So just again, incredible luck here. But now I have a decision. What do I bank? I am going to be able to do the reveal conceal cycle on the makeshift in the bank again, so it's going to reduce my upgrade costs. But given that I don't have any, you know, I could do the scrapper and then put one of the 2 upgrades on it and not waste any energy, but it's not really, you know, what I want. That's not what the scrapper's in the deck for. So I could have reduced the cost of that upgrade by doing this process first, but it would not have changed anything because, again, the cost doesn't matter in this particular case. But I'll do it anyway because it is feeding me the cash. All right. And we'll get rid of this.
We're gonna need a decision here.
And so now we have a defender. Defender not only getting shielded, but additional health, which is excellent. And now we have 3 shielded units on the board. With the potential 2 in hand, Security Officer can be played and buffed. Or I can play the Zealot, which will have its produced units will not be, of course, but I like that unit because in a lot of cases the opposing player, when faced between destroying shielded units that may require to use 2 effects or targeting an unshielded, especially a token, they'll go for that. So it's a good way to eat up opponent cards. Alright, so one of the reasons I like playing the armed token is because if the steward doesn't destroy it, which it usually will, then you can just take the steward back out and put the unit back on the deck. Now it'll lose effects it would have gotten from upgrade, so if it wasn't natively shielded, then it won't be shielded, but that's my logic there as opposed to playing a defender, because you can be pretty sure that you're going to lose it. Alright. So again, we have some choices here. I would like to get rid of the steward, even though I won't be able to pull. It's not like I can pull the token out of the singularity, but I just want to get it off of the board. So I've done the reveal. Reduce the cost of the upgrade on cutting edge, which is useful. Conceal. And because my defender had the Aegis on it and got the extra HP, I can use it to take some health off of the steward without trading. And I have armed now on Johns, which means I can finish it off using the arm mechanic, again not trading. I'm in a good strong position here on my board. I'm not doing a lot of damage to face. I'm just maintaining the board, controlling it, you know, passively putting caches into my deck and building board presence. Now, you'll see how the security officer got shielded without requiring me to put an upgrade on it. That's because of the mechanic of the support carrier, where after it attacks, the next unit you play will be shielded. So, I mean, can you have a nicer board versus Shroud? 5 shielded cards, units, 2 of which can be made defenders if I apply upgrades, 1 of which will increase its health and attack if I apply an upgrade, and the second which will increase its health if I apply an upgrade. So this is a pretty sweet example of the theory behind this modification of the deck played out in probably, as I said, most optimal way possible. Okay, we get our first cache popping. That's good. Not going to need the relic removal or or capture in Shroud. I don't think I've seen a Shroud Plate Relic, except for Crystal maybe, but generally I almost never see it. Okay, so I can shield the security officer if I want by attacking first with the character, but it might be time to get the Zealot going. And we cycle that. Works. Do our damage. Reveal again. For cash. Now we have a Zealot. Now the Zealot was already shielded, but it would have been shielded as a result of the carriers attacking.
Engaging target.
And we're chipping away. We have 6 shielded cards on the field. I mean, isn't that beautiful? And amazingly, the shield effect is actually working in all cases. So kudos. I actually don't know if that's fixed or not. I have to look back at some recent patch and see if where it's not working. All right. Taking more cards. Do you get anything of use? I mean, what he got from me is, you know, pretty inconsequential, but getting those 2 cards in their singularity when you're not Udon, I mean, he has ways to pull them out, but it's definitely, I can consider myself winning in that respect. All right, now I've upcycled. So this will allow me to pull Augencore cards. I don't have that many good Augencore cards in my deck. Not really in a position of where I need to do it now anyway. But I do have to bank something. Now, Security Officer usually would be something I would save that 0 cost upgrade for to apply shielded, but another method of doing so by attacking first with the Armored Support Carrier. And cycling through. I should have concealed it first, actually. You know, one of the things when you're playing Augencore, so many things going on, and the clock is ticking, that you can make these eggs. Alright, so I'm expecting them going to, you know, it could be a demo. Not really sure what's in his hand. So we're going to save the security officer just
Engaging target.
And keeping the upcycle will allow me to pull more units post demo if that's the situation.
Target.
So I could have played one or both, but I'm just going to be conservative. I'm in a good strong position here. You know, a demo here would have been really painful, but he's down to 11, so it really would not have made too much of a difference, I feel, at this point. Okay, and then we pull Sesamir. So, even if he did demo, you know, the point of playing Sesamir, of course, if all the stewards haven't been eliminated, is that you can just be giving it to the enemy, essentially. And you have to be careful playing it prematurely. But sometimes, even though you feel it's going to be taken, it's so that's part of the calculus. Okay, so no demo. I don't know why I chose that unit. I guess there weren't many options since everything was shielded, to be fair. Oh, well, that was never hurts. Not quite as annoying as a earthen-focused, cash-focused deck, but getting a few there is nice. Okay, and the Zealot unit coming in handy, not having to waste these defender. Now I have a choice to make. Okay, and then you can see.
Entire
So there's the deck code in the description. Thanks as always for watching, guys. Take it easy.